Okay, folks, welcome back. We're gonna start off the evening with some maintenance, also known as get this stuff the hell out of my way. I got stuff everywhere. Alberto. Coño, tarde. Late for you. Or maybe not, you're kind of a night owl. Let's put these things away so we can kind of start fresh, kind of. If I would just learn to put things right where I found them. Barnes White, welcome. We'll get started here in a second. I just got to clear my work area. And we will, I don't know why this thing's here. We're not messing with this for a while. This is, this isn't terrible, but it sucks compared to the stuff that I do now. So I haven't decided if I'm just going to fix it up or just repaint the whole thing. Probably going to repaint it. The paint that I use, I paint really thin, really thin. So as long as the base layer isn't too thick, which I don't know that it is that thick. So I had a situation that happened yesterday that has never happened to me, and that is my epoxy died, kind of. One of them did. Restart to install the latest Windows updates. Not right now, I don't. Go away. My epoxy died. One of them wouldn't come out at all. But it's like 10 years old. So I'm like, all right, I had to go get a prescription for my daughter today. I'll just go by the hardware store where I bought it last time. And they should still carry it, right? Nope. Of course they don't. And I'm not going to buy another brand because this one works. So I'm not going to buy JV Weld or whatever kind of brand they had there. So Amazon, something else that gets sold. Amazon's going to eventually get all our business, you know? So if people are out of stuff or, we don't carry that one anymore. Well, sucks to be you. And, Amazon's not the cheapest, but they have it available. All right. Let's put this back where it was. I was tinkering with putting some shirts in on the side of this tank. And kind of built some from the Panzer 3. Glenn Casey and Joe, everybody. Man, Monday night's a busy night. Is this time good for you guys or is later better? I try to get on when I can. But the wife comes back today, so I gotta pick her up later, I think. She gets in at like midnight. So I would rather pick her up than her take an Uber. But we will see how that plays out. All right. Let's take these bushes. They're still good. And all this stuff over here. Somebody posted some pictures on a website of like a dream work area. It was huge, so I wish I could extend this all the way to the wall, but got no place for the books then. This soon. Okay, I think that's enough chaos removal. Let's just get this little house the hell out of here. This little house, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. So I was thinking about those paint sets that I got. One of them came with a modulation for the field gray, not the field gray, the Panzer gray. I'm very happy with how I'm doing my Panzer gray vehicles, but I have these old ancient things. These are a couple of Crook-Protz trucks. I believe they were made by Lizard's Grin, and they are really second-tier vehicles. And I may experiment trying to paint them using the modulation paints that they have. And yeah, I got nothing to lose. It's not like I'm going to cover up any detail. But oh look, this is a box from a T-34, epoxied on there. And these are some other like plastic boxes from the Airfix German mountain troops or whatever. Well, we may pull this thing off. As you can see, I started painting this. Yeah, here it is. Houston ships. Houston ships, I believe, used to make 1/1000 scale Victorian period ships. And some 20mm scale stuff as well, like odds and ends of things. So we will probably try to paint those up using the Mew method and see if I like it better. I hope I don't. I don't want to be unhappy with the other stuff I have. I like that my German stuff has a and this was painted 30 years ago. So and you can see I was so excited that I just continued painting it, but no. So today's goal is going to be to bring these three vehicles up to the point where we can put decals on them. It's a top-notch product. Which one? The AK stuff? I wasn't a fan if I was just going to dry brush it, because it's so darn wet. I can make it work, but it's just so darn wet. You know, it's like I'm using the wrong product. I'm not making life easy on myself. So I've got kind of a hybrid painting method now. You know, I've got, I'm using the airbrush just for, if you're putting the primer down, it sticks a lot better than trying to brush it on and then, you know, kind of half-ass wiping it. So it works better for the primer. These were all also base coated with the, DevCon, yeah. Well, I ordered it. It's going to come in tomorrow. You know, I just won't be able to glue these on stands. That's the only thing that keeps me from. I got a lot to do to these before I'm worried about putting them on stands. So we'll put the base color with this, trying to leave some of the black, and then Agrax Earthshade, and then we did the camouflage stuff. So I've still got parts on my. Here's me showing you my mistakes. Well, you know, this one turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. I'm actually really happy with this. Now, I'm probably going to see if I have some spare Panther tracks and put them here. But for being kind of a basic model, this thing actually looks pretty darn good. I think. I'm pretty happy with it. Pattern and everything. And this pattern is going to get softened up a little bit when we end up dry brushing this over it. And then highlighting it as well. So we're going to start with the Panzer III. And work our way through these, but you like the camouflages, huh? Well, I like the field gray vehicles better, but you gotta have both, you know. So we're going to dry brush these, and I hate how much of this I waste, but whatever. I've wasted a lot, and there's still plenty in here. So let's get a brush we have some confidence in. And see if I can't try to be extra frugal. So the epoxy is two-part for the DevCon, the blue and the red. One of them runs more than the other one. It's easier for it to squeeze out. And that one wasn't the problem. It was the thicker one. It just got too thick. But, you know, I got a lot of years out of use out of it, so I'm not really complaining. I'm going to go with this one. I had it probably 10 years. So they had some other brands there. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to buy it. I'm buying DevCon. Here we go. Let's go to a new corner so we can see what we've brushed and what we haven't. And this is just to keep it from absorbing on here until I use it. This is the same base color that we had on here. And I'm not telling anybody to, there's a lot of people out there that don't mind their own business. I'm not one of them. You want to paint however you paint however you paint. Just like, don't tell me what to do, It's always somebody on, you're doing it wrong, you're doing this, or no, you don't go to an artist and say, hey, you're painting that thing wrong. It's your interpretation. So we're gonna just go softly over this. I guess I should have taken a before picture. I need to be mindful of something. I got some people traveling and... Okay, good. Am I going to be on tonight? Yes, Joe, I'm on. You must have sent that to me when I was connecting. Yep. Yeah, it may be a while before I'm gaming on a Monday. They got, especially this time, they announced they were going to play something I'm not really interested in playing, so. But even regardless of that, it's going to be a while before I paint, before I show up on a Monday. It's just too difficult. Work's too heavy, and it's just too difficult to get off work. And Monday's probably the worst day of the week for me, honestly, work-wise. As Tuesdays are very busy. Yeah, so we're just going to soften this up. Sometimes you've got... this was a lot better than last time, but... I think the next time I spray paint this, I'm really gonna water not water because I'm not using water to dilute it, but I'm gonna really dilute the paint a lot. And I'm using the AK, which is already diluted. I'm probably gonna dilute it by half and just see what happens. Just put one drop of paint, one drop of thinner kind of thing, and just the 1-to-1 proportion. Just see what happens. But I'm new at it. Just for hand painting this stuff, I got this shit down. I know what it's gonna take to get it to where it gives it the look that I want to give it. I'm not there yet with the airbrush. I'll get there. I don't think I'll ever be as good as the hand painting stuff, but I can't be good at everything. Jeez. Okay, and that's about all I want to do. I don't need to go crazy because we are going to put some other colors on here. And I'm just going to do the Panzer III first, and then we can go back to the other one. I like when the camouflage scheme, when it goes to the edge, I like putting the base color down like it's rubbed off there. And it makes the edges of the vehicle stand out. I was looking at pictures of vehicles, Panthers in particular, because I haven't really looked at it. And there's a lot of paint schemes out there that, even if they're accurate, the way they're represented, they look too shoddy. You know, there's some camouflage schemes that just don't look very believable. Just like, you know, some of them are worse than Picasso's work. And no, I'm not a fan of Picasso. And I don't buy that. They'll say, oh, he was a good artist. He just chose to paint that way. It'd be like, okay, I can make this look good, but I'm just going to use pink spray paint just to prove a point. You know, I'm just going to make it look like shit. Sorry, you put your money where the mouth is. You know, if you like Picasso, that's fine. We don't have to be friends. Oh, man. I think that's about it, because we have to go up with lighter colors anyways. And we'll have to replace this machine gun in there. All right. I watched a video today of, not today, yesterday, when I was at the gym, of a guy that had used this set. This set here, and he was painting with an airbrush. This set right here, which is beautiful. But what he was doing with using an airbrush and then using this to mask some of this stuff off, that's just not my style. It's just not my style. So I actually use this light color, which is a little too light. It's the Dunkelgelb highlight. But I don't, the next one's called Shine. I don't use it. I don't use the Shine at all. It's way too, it's like off-white. All right, let me take a look at this on the screen here. Yeah, we're missing half of the road wheel there. This had some glue on it. These were pre-built. It had some glue, and it just got like brittle and fell off, I guess, before I ever even got these things. So this will end up looking good. Just you wait. Now, every picture that I see of these at Kursk has shirts in on them, and I think today I found that in June, they basically, all the L's that came out, they put shirts in on all of them. So I do have a set I can put on the outside, but I don't know if I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it alone. Just said, hey, they didn't have it on this one. Or, you know, maybe this is before Kursk, you know. But already in the, where they were applying this kind of camouflage. So we're just going to go over this lightly, ever so lightly. Why do you not put any down here? This stuff airbrushes really, really well. And I like the fact that it has a little mixing ball in there. Now, I did not use the green that came in the set. This is actually, I believe it's called refractive green from Vallejo. And the Vallejo paint is significantly thicker than the AK. It's not that the Vallejo paint is that thick, it's that the AK is that light. We're just going to go over this, hitting some of these highlighted things. Keeping in mind that this is going to end up getting get some weathering on top of it. This is just hitting some of the spots so it shows some interest. So there's something interesting to look at across the table. And I know that sometimes they painted things with the tools on them. I like my tools to be tool colored. It's just because it just ends up looking like you were lazy and didn't want to paint them. Even though there's lots of photographic evidence that they in fact spray painted over the tools and stuff. Spare track. But I've never seen a picture with a tank with replaced tracks and the certain links were painted the camouflage color or whatever because they were sitting on the tank. All right, we need these edges. We want them to pop out. Want them to pop out and poke your eye out. Same thing on this, on the cupula. I actually heard somebody say a cupula or something like that. I'm like, no. I've always called it a cupula. I was trying to decipher what color numbers I was going to put on this thing. And I think I've narrowed it down to what it's going to be. Okay. Dan Dunbar, welcome. You're a little bit behind, 12-minute mark. I like painting Panzer gray too. Yeah, me too. And I like kind of my home mix that I created. That's probably the thing that I didn't copy somebody the most on, is adding that little blue tint to it. And when I was doing scale models in the early 90s as a young lad, Panzer gray didn't have blue. There wasn't this, well, you need to give it a filter. That shit didn't exist in 1990. Or if it did, it didn't get shared, around everywhere else. So we've got this thing, with the highlighted color that we need to do, that we've done. We're going to go ahead and do what I like to call scratches, which is kind of my rebellious, I'm not going to do chipping, so I'll do scratches instead, and they seem to work. They add a little bit of interest, some irregularities in the finish of the tank. We just got to find which one of these brushes we did it with. This will probably, this is probably too good a brush. We're the, that one's a little shittier. You don't want to use your great brushes for everything. You've got to save them for, you might need to call on them, and you got to make sure that they're ready to go for, you don't want to use up all your miracles. So I'm going to take some of the base color, and I'm going to take some of the highlight color, and I'm going to make kind of an in-between of the two. I'm going to take my friend, which is Liquitex Flow Aid. We're going to put a drop here. Well, great, 2 drops. If you look at the instructions on here, it says, yeah, mix this like 1 to 25. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, we just use it straight. And it's just re-wetting drops basically for your brush. It's funny, I didn't know what to really use it for, and I just kind of invented what to use it for, and I watched a video the other day about how to use retarder and how to use all this stuff, and when it came to this stuff, it's like, oh, they're using it exactly for what I use it for. So we've got our little like mustard color here, and we're going to come in and add just some points of interest. Just kind of random. That when you go and dry brush the weathering colors on it, it doesn't look all uniform. And it's like dry brushing. Dry brushing works great, but like when I was a kid, I didn't really like it because I'm a kid, right? So you're impatient. So I'm like, oh, okay, pick a color, you dry brush. You dry brush it. Well, it doesn't look very good. Yeah, because you only dry brushed one color. The more different layers and aspects of it, it just becomes that much more interesting. And where was this? Where's the stuff that I mixed? Just adding different layers on it. We're going to add some down here. And then after this, we're going to paint all the road wheels and stuff like that. Which doesn't take very long when you use this flow aid. I can't imagine going back and painting road wheels without using flow aid. Because the flow aid, what it does is it makes acrylic paint behave like thinned down enamel. Like it goes it's just smooth. It goes everywhere you need it to go. But there's no smell, easy cleanup, and so forth. So it's really good for that. We're going to add some scratches back here. And I don't know how accurate these die-cast Altayas are, but I got them. I paid very little for them, and they're going to look a lot better than they did. Sometimes you can just like drive yourself crazy wondering, okay, well, when I was doing modeling, there was this guy, and I didn't actually have a problem with him, but he was super anal retentive. Like, okay, I wanted to build a Panzer IV F2, and he's like, okay, well, at that time, nobody made one. So you have to get the Italy kit, and then you have to modify this, and you have to do these other things, and you could just go crazy trying to get a perfect kit because there's not one out there. So at some point you just say, these are wargaming things. I'm not gonna sweat the details. Now if I'm gonna buy something from scratch, I'm probably gonna buy something that's in 1/72nd scale that I don't need to do a ton of work to it to make it work. But I'm buying it. When you get 100, I don't even know how many vehicles I ended up getting, 130, something like that. I don't know. It was a lot. It was certainly 100. I got tons of Soviet vehicles. They're all 1/76 scale. Whatever. They look great. So we're on a tear of German vehicles now. We've got these three. I think the next 5 or 6 are all German. They're all Dunkelgelb German ones. And then we're probably going to switch to T-34-85s and do 4 of them at a time. So I've got 8 of them to do, so it makes sense to do them in packs of 4. But the only reason I'm doing multiple of them at a time is for you crank up the airbrush, you might as well prime a whole bunch of stuff. The airbrush is actually really quick, easy to clean, or quick to clean, except for the primer. That Vallejo polyurethane primer is a pain to clean. Now the good thing is the other day I ended up priming like 7 or 8 vehicles before I had to call it quits on it, and it gets all clogged up because it's like very rubbery. But it works great. I even thinned it a little bit with airflow improver. And that seemed to make it work a little bit better. Okay, that's enough of the hull. Let's put the turret up here. And we're not doing the old red numbers with white outlines on this one. Okay, it seems that at this time period they either had outline white numbers, outline black numbers, or solid white or solid black seem to be the most common during this period with this paint scheme. So we're going to do one of those. I'm not going to do highlighted. I'm not going to do outline just white because my other Panzer III of this is like that and it's in gray. So just for variety, I'm probably going to do either solid white or solid black. That's what I'm thinking. But you know how it is. You kind of have just kind of an idea of what you're going to do, and sometimes things go a different way, and you just change your mind, and no big deal. Let's add a little bit more of this. And we're still going to have dry brushing on top of it for the weathering. This just is kind of, you know, imperfections in the paint. I did pick up some of that washable white paints. At some point, we're going to dive into winter vehicles. Now, I'm probably going to do winter vehicles that had winter paint schemes that wore off, not stuff in the middle of the snow. And it's only because I'm using these for wargaming, and as much as I would like to have an entire German force I could use for Wintergewitter, the failed relief for Stalingrad, I don't want to buy new infantry that I'm going to have to put on bases with snow on them so that it'll go with them. So, that's my reasoning anyways. All right, let me put my glasses on, step about 3 feet away from it, and see what we're looking at. Okay, yeah, that's popping out nicely with having that lighter color everywhere. You can see with this one, you might not be able to see it, but you got all the edging so it'll pop. It's also a lot less yellowy. It's less mustardy here. So at this point, we're going to go do the road wheels. Now I am going to use the wet palette for this, because we're going to be working with a black for a little bit. Oh, what a disaster. This thing fell on the ground, and that's where you get this whole thing right here. But I don't think I need to switch this out yet. Let's get some new black. So we're just going to put some right here so it's handy to use. I don't care if I use too much. I'm going to do 3 tanks worth of road wheels. I don't use dark gray because I end up dry brushing over it. So if you end up using a dark gray, by the time you're done dry brushing the dirt colors, you end up getting a light gray. And light gray road wheels just doesn't look right. It looks like, you did something wrong. As you guys across the pond say, to my eye, it doesn't look good. 1 drop. I do not want to use that brush. That's too good a brush for this. We have a little black one that's here that has kind of a long... That's the one we've been using. I just got to find out where she is. She's not far. Is it that one? Nope. That's too many brushes. And I have a habit of not throwing them away. It's this one. Here we go. And of course, just today, I noticed that I think Vallejo even makes a storage thing for the paints. I don't need it for all my paints. It would just be nice to have the ones that I'm using frequently on the short term closer, Missing outer road wheel is fine. Absolutely. These things happened to me once on a long drive, an M113 outer idler. Lucky you didn't throw a track. Luckily you didn't come under fire. It's an M113. You're in the Australian Army? The Aussie Army? I think that's right. The M113 is like a Sherman. It's kind of unattractive, but it's kind of attractive. Nordic, you've arrived. Oh, good. Now we can finally have a legitimate paint session now that Nordic is here. Yeah, I think M113s are kind of cute. Now, I could pull this track off, but they painted it in a way, they glued it in a way that I'd rather it stay glued and stay taut to the top of the road wheel, so I'm going to leave it alone. What I normally do is just leave it alone. I can get anywhere I need to get in there. So we're just going to paint the top of these road wheels. Look how easy this goes on. It's just like, whoop. It just applies so nicely. And we'll get the other sides as well. Now this has a little rim. You could lean your brush on. And the best thing about this is I'm going to dry brush the living shit out of this. So most of this ends up being covered up with a dry brush. So it's forgiving. And instead of painting every single road wheel as I go, I'll try to get everything from the vantage point that I have it. I tend to, like, when I'm painting figures, I paint one figure at a time, because the most annoying thing for me is pick the figure up, put the figure down. Pick the figure up, put the figure down. So if you're painting like all boots or whatever across 12 figures, that's a lot of picking up and putting down. They're on pennies, you know, it's a lot of fumbling that you could possibly do. I would rather just do one figure at a time, you know. And that's whether you're doing 15s or 20s, it doesn't matter to me. We all have our methods. And these, I'm just going to get the bottom part of the road wheel. Yeah, see, I messed up a little bit there. I'm just leaving that. I'm leaving that alone. That's going to end up being dry brushed over it. And this may seem tedious, not compared to painting a bunch of Romans. And this easily takes more than twice as long if you're not using the flow aid or something like that. And then after this, next step is decals. After we paint all these detailed things on there, decals. Nordic, you always the one bringing up the Brumbar, and you do a Brumbar, or is that Justin? I got that late war paint set. We can do a Sturmmoser Tiger now. Woo! Talk about firing once a game. That's it. Better start the game loaded. .15-inch mortar. Like a sawed-off Bismarck gun. How many make of those things? 90? I don't think they made more than 90 of them. That's Justin. Never commented on the Brumbar. You know, I encountered one the other day. Well, I haven't played it in a while. But Gates of Hell Ostfront. I encountered a Brumbar when I was playing the Russians. And it was facing away from me. It didn't survive. Okay. Honestly, forget about the Brum Bar. But actually, Italy was one of the places that got used. How's the shipping from Spray Gunner? In Florida, I swear I paid less than $4. Thinking of picking up that AK set for the German vehicles with Dunkelgelb. It's excellent. I mean, the MSRP on it is like $24, $26, something like that. And they're selling it for like 18. So, and I had a great experience. I hope you do too. But I talked to the guy for quite a bit, and I was kind of on a time crunch. My daughter was with me, so we wanted to go to make it to Busch Gardens. We had gone down there to do kind of a intro thing for she's going to be going to college down at USF St. Pete. We did that. I said, well, let me hit this paint store while we're down there on the way to Busch Gardens. And spent about a half hour there. And the guy was really nice that helped me. I said, hey, I got a YouTube channel. It's not really big, but I got almost 1,700. So, oh, you got that many? I said, no, it's not really that very big for a YouTube channel. But then, I just do what I do. And if people like it, that's cool. It's not like I'm catering to the masses. I could get a lot more viewers, but I've got to do stuff that I'm not really interested in, And that's just not being true to yourself as far as I'm concerned. That'd be like if I'd started making, videos on how to play Magic the Gathering or something like that. Well, I'm not into that, so why would I do that? Like, oh, I'm going to do 28 millimeter scale because it's more popular. Well, I don't give a shit if it's more popular. This is what I do. If you like it, that's cool, But I said, I got some subscribers and, I like doing unboxings. I love watching unboxings. So that's just my way of giving back. So maybe somebody will do something that, it's almost like you're buying something. You get to see how it looks opened. And that's one of the things that inadvertently has actually kind of kept me from buying more things on the internet. One of the things was, we've all bought things that we've never used. And that's, how's that saying go? You can't throw money at the problem? Yeah. You can't just keep buying. At some point, you're like, I'm tired of all this stuff that I bought and I don't do anything with it. And it's just, we need to practice a little bit more minimalism sometimes, Starting to sound like an anarchist. But no, it's true. Sometimes you can have so much stuff, you can't find the stuff you have because of all the stuff that's in the way. So, just use what you have. And a long time ago, I would go, and that's how I ended up with figures I don't like. I'm like, oh, who's this company? FAA. Oh, they make some German infantry. Well, let me get some. And then I order 6 packs or 8 packs, and I hate how they look, and I'm stuck with them. Now you go and watch a video, and you see something like, I don't like how it looks. Thank goodness I didn't order it. Or sometimes I've mentioned sometimes you're like, man, how much would it cost to get such and such? So you go to the place you want to get it from, put them in your cart, figure out shipping, and then go, okay, that was fun, and then walk away from it, So you hit the limit with miniatures. I like painting them, but I'm finding it's just impossible to get motivated to paint them. I want to get it for your Panther G. Yeah. So, yeah, There's no point in painting something and then not doing anything with them, unless you're thinking of 15 millimeter miniatures or whatever for AWI that you were doing. Just the same standpoint, just treat them like if they were a model. You build them and you put them in your wherever it is, and that's it. You go with the intention of not doing anything with them, and that's okay. I'm sure there's people that do that. I'm kind of doing that with these. I may get around to playing this game, but it's if it was about playing games, I could play other games. I could play other World War II games. I could play computer games that were World War II related that are online to get my game fix out. But it still doesn't solve wanting to be creative. So, and I only have enough energy to do one thing at a time. So if I kept doing the 15 millimeter ancients medievals, I'm never going to get around to painting this stuff. Yeah, I don't feel bad about it because I've done that for 18 years. These guys have been sitting on the... I'd say that all the time when I was playing DBA. I'm not an ancients medieval guy. I'm a World War II guy. Do you believe me now? I would never be able to tolerate a game like DBA that was World War II. Absolutely not. I am a devout tread head and rivet counter when it comes to the Second World War. You see Kursk all the time. Kursk. Panzer III's at Kursk. Cool. They're M's, 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 M's. They only made 250 M's. Only 250 M's. They made over 1,000 L's. So, if you figure out all the Panzer III's with a long barrel, they're at Kursk, and there was quite a few of them there. I don't know what the numbers are right now, but I'm just going to there was hundreds of them there, okay? I'd say at least 500 of them. If every single M that was built got sent there, which a majority was there, most of the tanks that are Panzer III longs aren't M's. I know what you mean. I was dragging, I had some leg surgeries, and now can't get to the craft room with Walker. Now back to itching, can't wait to get back at it. Yeah. Yeah, it's one thing if you paint a sculpt here or a sculpt there, it's bad. But if every sculpt is something that you're not enjoying, throw them away and move on. You're being tortured by them. I use craft paints, but I wouldn't want to paint this entire tank in craft paints. It's just going to take a lot longer. It's not going to stick as well. It's like getting an airbrush. Like I'll get an airbrush that's like $20. The problem with the $20 airbrush is if you get a great one, like the one I got, you got to spend another $130. Okay, look how much in savings the trouble and headaches and pulling your hair out it's going to save you. You're going to be tortured every single time. It's time to take that thing apart. You're being tortured just for saving $130. At some point, after being tortured 7 or 8 times, it's paid for itself, Winter and DAC stuff is cool to paint because of the worn look you can do. I'm looking forward to doing both of them. I'm looking forward to doing both of those. I'm actually looking forward more to do the British North Africa than the German stuff. Because the British stuff's really cool. I don't care that those cruisers were broke down all the time. The German stuff broke down all the time. Honeys. Man, I love me some honeys. Again, another perfect example like I was talking about the other night. The Brits take anything that's US and make it look better. Honeys are sexy. the inside wheel. The only Commonwealth tank I am not a fan of is, well, I mean, there's lots of them, but the one that is a common one that I'm not a fan of is in the desert is Valentine's. I'm not a Valentine fan. I think they're just too slow. They're just too slow. I don't know. There's something about them. That doesn't mean I won't eventually build some. Speaking of which, I saw a painting video that's brand new showing how to paint the counter scheme for the British. I saw that one too, and I haven't clicked on it yet. And these guys AK makes a counter set for it. The only thing I'm not looking forward to the counter scheme is, I think it is the same for every vehicle. So for instance, if there's a scheme for a Matilda in the counter, the lines of the colors follow the same pattern from every vehicle. And if that's the case, I'm not going to enjoy that, because I like I don't want complete freedom, but if they're exactly the same on every vehicle type, I mean, obviously they wouldn't be the same as a Matilda as on a Mark 6B. But if all the Mark 6Bs have the lines in the same place, the slate color in the same spot, Aussie Army, okay. Artillery observer. Yeah, that's is that Storm of Steel that did that? It might have been his channel. It came in while I was at work. I don't watch a whole lot of videos anymore because I'm making them. That doesn't mean other people's stuff isn't good. There's my Coke addiction. Tony doing Coke again. One of these days, it'll have to be the weekend. I'll have to do Scotch Saturdays or something like that. Like I said, I don't need to drink at home. I need to drink at work. And since I can't drink at work, then I don't need to drink at home. Actually, St. Patrick's Day, I was having a sip with you guys and didn't feel a thing. Woke up great. Whiskey's my spirit animal. I didn't have that much. I don't think I'm going to be on here super late. Only because when the daughter gets back home, we're going to try watching the rest of the Mandalorian episode that we weren't able to finish. I was going away to college last year, and I think today was the first year it just kind of hit me. I was kind of sad, but it's just not that far away. Just the idea of it. We have been interested in Napoleonic Wars for a while. Never pulled the trigger. Last summer, picked up Napoleon's Last Gamble from Operational Studies Group. I got to see what that looks like. Because I'm definitely drawn by what a board game looks like. I don't mind board games. Lots of them are very attractive. There's somebody that's running a game at the same time that I signed up for something at my convention. I'm kind of bummed about it. But some people take a long time turning their game submissions in, and you got to choose. And just like I can't be into everything, I can't play every game at the same time, So hopefully we run out of vehicles soon, so that we can start painting some infantry. I have none to buy, unless I'm going to buy some plastic ones for, you know, vehicle crews and stuff like that. I got lots of white metal guys I absolutely love and aren't available anymore, and haven't been available in a long time. And luckily, because I'm a skirmish gamer, I bought one pack of everything they made, like all the battlefields, like the whole battlefield Stalingrad range of Soviets and Germans that I have. I've got one pack of everybody, so no two figures look the same. You know, which works great with, you know, when I'm naming them. You know, you want to give them personality. Even the Soviets, it's not like they're just masses of, you know, communist. Soviets are people too. I got lots of Brits to paint too. I've had 4 Brits painted so far, so all the Brits will be painted new style. So they should look pretty good, but I'm not going to focus there. But I think the Brits are going to go to Italy. I think we can do some really interesting stuff in Italy. It was a crap shoot, but went for Magister. Never played a war game, just like to paint. It's relaxing. It is. It is. Even if you don't war game, you have the potential to be able to war game if you want to. I don't like building plastic models because, you know, you're never going to use them. I mean, unless they're like, you know, this, you mount them for a war game. But a long time ago, the plastic models were a little bit more interesting because, you know, back in the 80s, you wanted to see, well, I wonder what a Panzer III looks like from a 3/4 angle from the rear. You had to build a model, right? Because you weren't 3D renderings, you know. I mean, unless you got to go to Aberdeen Proving Ground, which I never got to go until they frickin' moved the place away. Why do road wheels look strange? I don't know. Put the bottle down? This Panzer III, I think, is one of the... I think Panzer IIIs are one of the best looking vehicles of the Second World War. Every version of them, except the N. I hate the N. And I need to get a couple of N's. I don't like N's. It is just a classic looking vehicle. The other thing about the desert that I like is almost all the vehicles in the desert are good enough to knock each other out. Let's just forget the Matilda exists, okay? But if the Matilda's not there, which is a beast to knock out, you know, Crusader can mess up a Panzer III as much as a Panzer III can mess up a Crusader, you know? Here comes another Kev joke. Yeah, Rick's lurking probably. He's probably grinding something. Don't go there. While he's watching. I might have to do that in about a couple of years when I'm playing Diablo 4, trying to grind a level up to, I don't know, some thing, and have to put somebody's video on. Oh, there's a tool just hiding back here. Oh, you sneaky tool. Tools being a tool. Actually, that's one of those new sayings I don't use. I'm not that old. Well, I don't think I'm that old. But based on the language that people use now, and I don't use, yeah, I'm old as shit. Because they say all kinds of stuff I don't do. There he is. Ah! Here he is. Ricky Tikki Tavi. Oh, Snapdragon. I never drilled the end of this barrel. I'm pretty sure I drilled the end of the barrel of the Panzer IIIs. All right, time to get supervision out. Okay, now we'll get Mr. Drill Bit out. I believe I put it face up so I could find it easier. Was that it? God, that was a weird sound. Yep. I'll watch an unboxing even if I own one already, just to see what others think. I love seeing them. It's just something about seeing how something's packaged and I'll watch unboxings from people that have low charisma. Because there's some guys that I subscribe to that are really low energy. But it's very relaxing to listen to them. As a matter of fact, one of the guys that gave me the idea of, hell, I can make videos, is one of these folks. He's a guy from the UK. He is very low-key. His videos are very basic, but he's extremely relaxing to listen to. My wife walked in on me listening to him one time. I was like, why are you listening to that guy? I said, because he's calming. You know? This should be a calming hobby. If it's stressing you out, you're doing it wrong. You're just doing it wrong. Okay. Just a little something there. So Panzer IIIs have this problem. And this problem is that this hull, we'll call it the superstructure. And the superstructure specifically on these is this distance between the fender and the top of the crew compartment. It's really, really short. It's so short that most of the time the decals or decals that you get don't fit in there because of height. So I'm prepared to hand paint the Balkenkreuzes if I have to. It does not bother me. I've had to do it before. So I'm going to go ahead. This thing's ready to go. This thing's ready to get some decals on it. So before we do the decals, we need to put the gloss coat on it. And I watch videos. See, I paint really slow, and I don't cut a lot of corners. But I try to cut corners when I can. And one of the corners that I cut is, I don't varnish the whole thing in satin. That's just a waste of time drying. I'm just going to varnish the little spots that I know need to go. And then we're not an issue. I love using this stuff. Pledge Floor Care, because it smells good. It just does. I don't even know what it even smells like. It smells like fruity clean something or another. I don't know. So let's just get a brush that's hopefully kind of clean. And we do not need to go very thick on this. And I probably don't even need to use this stuff. But I have it, so I might as well put it to good use. So I don't know if I'm going to do this yet, but there could be numbers back here in the back. Okay? There's going to be numbers here in the side. All right? Put that there. Put some on this side. All right? Turret's done. We're not going to put anything anywhere else other than those spots. I'm going to gloss coat all of this, because if I find a decal, I'm probably going to paint it there. I don't want it hidden, so I'm going to put it over here somewhere. And this has got lots of space to put one here on the back. I don't know if I'm going to put it on this side or this one. So let's gloss coat those spots. And I think that's it. If I was using, if I was putting Panzer Division symbols, I'd put a spot at the front too. But I don't want to go down that road, Not because I don't like them. Panzer Division cool symbols are very cool, but I don't want to be using somebody that's in Italy that wasn't ever in Italy, Toy addiction. I watch unboxings of stuff I have zero interest in. Toy addiction, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I do like watching unboxings. A lot, actually. Speaking of toy addictions, I haven't watched 3D Bot Maker in a long time. If you guys don't know what that is, well, I'm gonna have to plug his channel. Not that he needs my humble few people that watch this, but because he's got millions of subscribers, as he should. This is a guy that supposedly is in California, and he supposedly did Matchbox car racing, and he did it for his son, and he announces his videos just like it was a real race. It really is something, and it is a shitload of editing. A shitload of editing. He's extremely talented, and it's a shitload of editing. But I'm going to go ahead and null and oil some things while I'm thinking about it. But the name of his channel is 3D Bot Maker. I haven't watched it's literally probably the best thing out there that's wargaming related. I guess it's kind of like wargaming. If people send him cars and he does races, it's really truly amazing. And I try to plug him every chance I get because it's not that he needs the subscribers because he's got plenty of them, but you guys don't need to miss out on that stuff. La Coca-Cola is bad. Yeah, that's my addiction. Oh well. Keeps me from being perfect. If I have coffee this late, I got problems falling asleep then, so coffee is not an option. All right, we're going to just darken these spots right here. Some people smoke or vape. I used to be a smoker. March 28th, 1998. That was the last day, and I never had a relapse. It's like another lifetime. All right, we're going to let this percolate here. This should not take a long time to dry. Let's go ahead and look at some numerals. You agree, Brits made US stuff sexy. They did. Good example, the Firefly. I love the look of the tank. How about all those Shermans at Alamein? That's I mean, there's some better looking Shermans than other. Those Alamein Shermans are awesome with a swash. All the Northwest Europe with the Mickey Mouse stuff. They did. Kitty Hawk. Honeys. Just everything. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Let's take a look at some decals. See if there's any that are pre-made. There won't be. I'm still looking through there. We're going to have to pull these out. I'm sure that's probably going to end up being where the winning combination is. Hanomag 251s, right? That doesn't have enough decals. 555. Yeah, I'm not going to do red. These are hollow, but these are way too big. This is going to be like big ones on a Panther. Okay. That Africa coil was a little crooked spider on them. Yep, these are solid white ones. What's this down here? What's this? Nothing. Okay. Last one. This is from a Hanomag. And it has some Balkan kreuzes on them, but and they're white. That would probably work. You know what? I'm probably going to do solid white numbers. Honestly, we're going to use these. We're going to use these. I don't want the last number higher than a 4. And I don't want to do these hollow ones because I just did one of these in hollow. How's a black gonna look? Other than very subtle. I'm gonna do white. I'm gonna do white. And 6s are always fun to use because you can always use a 9 as a 6. They're the same. I think just about every decal with a German, their 9s and 6s are identical. So 9s are not very useful. You can only use a 9 as a first number. So, unless you're building one of those that's like they specifically numbered it incorrectly to fool the Allies or whatever. Yeah, I don't think that happened as often as is the case, but did I end up painting the road wheels on the other side? No, I'm a freaking slacker. See, I sidetracked myself. Good. This needs a little bit more time to dry anyways. It's Nordic's turn to watch me. It's his fault. Camarón de la isla. Shrimp of the island. I think you need to go to bed. I don't know what that means. Shrimp of the island. Are a lot of people allergic to shellfish? When I was a kid, nobody was allergic to anything. Or I didn't hear about it. It wasn't this you were allergic to peanuts. I think if you were allergic to peanuts in the 1970s, you just died and they buried you in the backyard. You didn't know, nobody found out about it because they were too embarrassed, you know? What's your fault? That I'm not staying on track. I'm having squirrel moments. I've never done any drugs. Imagine if I had. Just caffeine and alcohol. Those aren't drugs. Those are motivators. Liquid motivation. Actually, it's caffeine that I like. Caffeine is my master. I gotta do tracks too. Jeez. Ese tanque está perfecto. Really? I'm glad you like it. Soviets are people too. Soviets are as much of people as, how's that saying go? Communists aren't people and Nazis aren't either. You know? Just because you hate communists like I do doesn't mean you like the Nazis, you know? That's why I like the Eastern Front. Which asshole do you want to play? You know? The people that are more prejudiced or the equal opportunity oppressors? Of all the wargaming I've done, of all the World War II wargaming I've done, only one person I have encountered that enjoyed playing the Germans just a little too much. I'm going to leave it at that. There's always, you know, I'll play anybody. There's one guy who enjoyed playing the Germans just a little too much. I like playing the Soviets. Man, you can have a lot of fun playing Soviets. A lot of fun. Don't make me crack the whip. I'm not into that, unlike Rick. Stay on track. But before you do, go to Facebook and see the map I just uploaded. Do you want to see what the maps look like for OSG games? It's my own fault for getting you to sign up for Facebook. I think Facebook's wonderful. It's great for hobby. Well, it's got too much political stuff, so don't engage in it. I don't. There's lots of things I don't see. I don't give them the benefit of, you know, I was like, oh, they need an unlike button. The unlike button is cleverly hidden under the unfriend button. Okay. Last Stand from Napoleon's Last Gamble. And for God's sakes, you need to get a profile picture. You're like, what does this look like? Oh, that looks good. Reichstätt. Soffe-Verensheim. Good Lord, man. What a run-on. It's a run-on sentence, people. Flugresheim. Dingsheim. That sounds like where all the dumbasses live. Where do you live? Oh, you live in Dingsheim. Niederhausbergen. Mittelhausbergen. Oberhausenbergen. These people, like, you guys failed advertising. It looks good. It's a good-looking game. It doesn't look as good as that Civil War game that looks with the hand. You know which one I'm talking about. That one looks amazing. It's your fault only. Rick liked that. It's your fault only. I only upload some hobby stuff from time to time. That's it. Just use it for hobby. Oh, man. I'm sure you could find one real easy by doing a Google image search. I'm surprised you haven't seen that Big Sky thing that she was in. So I saw a trailer for something that, you know, I'm the world's worst when it. No, I'm not the world's worst. My wife is the world's worst when it comes to movies because she won't watch them. My thing is I'm the world's worst because I'll find faults with stuff. But y'all want good entertainment. They just want to make a buck. But I saw a preview for a movie that's probably garbage. But the preview intrigued me. And it's a movie called The Hunt. And it has really bad reviews. But and it's on Prime, and I may watch it. But it's just one of those that, you know, you just give it 10 minutes. If I'm not captivated by 10 minutes, then but I did start watching, Kevin. I did start watching that Pit, whatever, that Pit movie, because that link that Sama Tobin sent me was working, and it actually looks pretty good, like the film quality. It's not super grainy or everything. I was gonna watch it the other night, and I'm like, you know what? That's gonna make me think about shit that isn't real, and then I'm gonna have trouble going to sleep, even though it's, you know, an old movie. But I do have that link, and I've watched probably 20 minutes of it, and I think it's pretty well done so far. I'm not saying it might not be hokey towards the end, but and it was pretty easy to understand what was going on, even without subtitles, because I watch everything with subtitles. I'm hard of hearing. And people don't speak up and mumble, so that doesn't help. There, add an avatar photo. Isn't bikini shot, though? Have Big Sky on your Hulu list. Good. Those kind of shows are things that my daughter likes to watch. But my daughter, like my wife, is always like, well, that's a predictor. But she likes to like think ahead of what's going to happen and like frequently predicts things correctly. Whereas I'm just kind of stupid and along for the ride. I focus on like, you know, things being unrealistic or shit like that. I rarely like try to, you know, read ahead or think ahead. But the girls are always like, I saw that coming. It had to be that person. I'm like, really? It's not like you're trying to solve the thing yourself. You know? Have you watched Future Man yet? If decals don't fit, I cut them to make them fit, but hand painting is cool too. It really is. The problem is these anal retentive Germans generally have all their numbers very neat. Now, this Britannia Panther, I am not going to go through 2 gallons of microsol to get it to fit in there. I'm going to hand paint the numbers on there. So, it actually works. The microsol actually works. I took my what's that little guy called? The Stoogie. That Stoogie that I did had thick ass decals that were about 35 years old or more, and it thinned them down where they just disappeared overnight. So you do have to be patient. Which I guess proves every decal I've used worked great, except that set from Petting House. I got some US stars. I guess it would be roundels in stars from Petting House. And the entire decal was one sheet. So it wasn't like cut around where the thing is. It's just like all one sheet. So, and it was thick. And they're German things. Aren't the Germans supposed to be like, like the guys in charge of being, competent and, and detail oriented? It's just a lie. It's just a lie we've been fed. Anybody know any good German jokes? I didn't think so. I haven't watched much of anything, to be honest. I've been detoxing from television. I don't really like it because I can't multitask at all when I'm watching TV, which means I'm not going to do any painting. So I'll watch stuff with other members of my family, but alone, unless it's at lunchtime, I don't watch it. I'm still trying to get through Community right now. That's what I've been watching. But all right. So this is what we use. This is what I've been really happy with. Is German Camouflage Black Brown from Vallejo. Used to be called German SS Camo Black, but I guess they didn't want any black SS people. It's not even black. It's very dark brown. But I use this as my base color for kind of rust. I don't like rusty tracks that look orange. Yes, they would look orange if they never moved, but they're always moving, and that corrosion's gonna come off of it. I just think it works good as a base color for the tracks. So that's what I use and why I use it. It doesn't mean you have to change whatever method you're using. This makes life so much easier with the Flow Aid. Just imagine it's like something that you put on your brush that gets the paint off smoother, and you don't have as many of those little, when you get paint and you're using acrylic paint and you creates a little bubble and then it pops later, and then you have this one little spot that doesn't have any paint on it. It almost like cuts down on that. And you use so little of it. It's crazy. I just put a little drop on here, from time to time. I just grab some of it. And I just decided to try it one time because I had bought this to make, I think one guy, I watched a video with the first airbrush that I got that was a POS. He called it Jesus Juice. There was a guy who had a video on there, how to make his own airbrush thinner. And he called it Jesus Juice. And it had, 5 or 6 different ingredients, and one of them was Liquitex Flow Aid, Yeah, I don't use the silver. I used to. And then I see other people's stuff that I like how they did it. Oh, they didn't use any. They didn't use any rust. They didn't use any silver. Okay, let me try that. There's some people. Let's do it easier, Tony. There's some people that. Oh, we're never going to finish with this. Let's bring out the big guns. There's some people that paint like MP40s and stuff like that using grays. I can't do that. I'm not bold enough to do that yet. I'll still highlight with, metallics. But I'm always painting tracks super dirty, so I figure, well, if it's got any silver in there, which it would, it's covered up by dirt and stuff. Okay, let's flip over to the other side. Oh, the other day I was thinking about you the other day, Nordic, when you were saying what everybody's least favorite vehicle was. I think we were talking about that. Talking about what least favorite German vehicle you have. And I'd forgotten one. The RSO. That RSO tractor with a freaking Pack 40 in it. But the RSO has no cab. That looks like shit. That looks like complete shit. That or a Lorraine Schlepper with a 37 millimeter on it or something like that. Schlepping around. That RSO is ugly as shit. Not a fan. Ugliest American vehicles, those damn duck trucks. For me. I heard we had APCs that could never get dirt off. I believe it. I imagine a lot of the dirt out there is probably super sandy. We're almost done with this, and then we can do some decaling. You're 52? Yeah, you're like a couple months older than I am. And I had your first allergic reaction to prawns a couple of months ago. Have eaten them all my life. Had them 3 times just that week. Wow. I don't want that to happen to me. But stuff happens. True story. Deodorant. I use a deodorant all the time. And somehow my body changed and it doesn't work for me anymore. I remember I'd come home from work, and I work in a construction type place where I'm in and out all the time, sweating profusely. I'd come home. I remember my daughter was little, and she's like, "Daddy, I want to smell your armpit," because it's like the only part of me that smells good because you got deodorant on. That same deodorant. Well, they might also change the formula. Didn't work. So I got a new one yesterday. You got to be careful because some of them will freaking burn your pits. And tested it today, no problem. So, yeah, things happen. Did I do the Will Smith thing? What? What's the Will Smith thing? With a little light pen? Or like punching somebody on stage? Or what other things does he do? Little ears? What else happened? I'm taking it's been like 2 months I've been taking a Zyrtec every day because I got a cough that wouldn't go away, and it might be the pollen. And I've lived here my whole life. So yeah, your body changes, unfortunately. Oh, I don't want to be allergic to seafood. I don't eat it very often. I love shrimp. Oh man, I love shrimp. But now I'll check in the store because sometimes they'll be in the store and be like, "Oh, where's the shrimp coming from?" And we're in Florida, right? Surrounded on all three sides by salt water. Shrimp, Indonesia. Why the fuck am I getting shrimp in Florida from Indonesia? I won't buy it. Or Vietnam. Nope. I know why they do it because there's no rules there. They could just farm all of them and not leave anybody alone. I'm not getting seafood from halfway across the world. Not getting it. I don't need it that badly. Man, I love shrimp. Damn it, now I'm hungry. Y'all are just so bad that if the pill I'm on now doesn't help much in the spring, summer, I have to move getting an allergy shot every month. Oh, man. Are you in a high allergy place? So like where I'm at is supposedly really bad for allergies. And I've just been like, okay, what's the big deal? But I don't feel it in my eyes or anything. It's just, I had this cough that just wouldn't go away. It's a stupid cough. Just, well, you saw it. It's on one of my videos. I couldn't stop coughing for no reason whatsoever. Felt great. Just that. Hey, your body changes. Damn it. Just when you get it figured out, it changes again. Well, there's a couple things I don't want. I don't want to get the shakes, obviously. I don't want to get motion sickness. That wouldn't be good. I like being able to ride roller coasters. Big fan here. I took my daughter to the theme park, one she hadn't been to in over a decade, and she didn't remember riding some of these rides, and there's new rides, and we had a freaking blast. Because she went on a lot of rides, and she didn't even know what they did. And that is a great feeling if you're a roller coaster fan, going on a ride and not knowing what it's going to do. That's pretty freaking cool. So we're a fan of those. All three of us, actually. And when I was a kid, everybody rode roller coasters. And if you didn't, they'd rip into you. Because kids are ruthless. I don't know if kids, I'm sure kids are different kind of ruthless now, but kids don't give a shit. So, if you were just scared to go on a ride, you would get tortured mercilessly by your peers. Now, if you threw up after going on it one time, all right, that's different. You get a pass, but just not even trying to, like, I'm too scared. Oh, you candy ass. You know, you couldn't get away with that. You couldn't get away with that in the 70s and the 80s. You just get tortured mercilessly. And I know some people, I remember when I was a kid, I'm like, I was scared like the first time I went on it, but I started looking around and said, if that old bitch can get on it, why the hell can't I? If that kid that's half my age, well, you know, so I never questioned it. I just always went on them, you know? It's the season for Florida pink shrimp. Just when you have the answers, your body changes the questions. That's right. It's always adapting and changing. Vertigo. Imagine how cuttlefish feel. Vertigo is the one that a lot of people develop later in life. I don't need that. Well, you get a pass on that, you know, because you can't ride rides with whiplash. And there's a couple of rides that you go on and it has like a top harness, and no matter what you do, your head goes from side to side. And you walk out with a headache. That's like not cool, you know. You don't want that. That's not cool. Okay, I think we're done with the tracks and stuff. That's where we're gonna leave this guy. Okay, I'm sure the decal stuff is dry. See, I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, I don't really like how that looks, but I'm going to power through it and it'll probably end up looking okay. This one, on the other hand, that camouflage scheme looks badass. You know, and this is a shit model. You know, this is a model that's been around since, it's probably older than me, honestly. You know, or about that. It's probably 74, something like that. All right, let's put that away. Let's go get some water. I'm going to check my phone to make sure I don't have some important messages. I do. What is this? We're headed home. Okay, perfect. All right. Let me go get some water in here and we can get some decals on. What's it, a Panzer III? Just out of habit, I'm going to avoid the 4th and 8th company. Just out of habit. I'm not really sure what happened during this time period, but I'm going to avoid 4th and 8th company, which traditionally, early in 41 and 42, those two are Panzer IV companies. They're the heavy, or actually, really, they're the medium company. So let's get these guys out here and pick some numerals. What do we say we're going to do? White. Well, the white will stand out a lot more than the black. The problem with the black is it'll end up looking like a flamethrower tank. A lot of the flamethrower tanks seem to have black numerals. We have a bunch of 5s. What numbers do I have already? Because I don't want to use repeat numbers. What's my other Panzer III have? I got one of these that's already painted. Where is she? Well, the gray one's 231. .615. This is the other one. Not airbrushed camouflage. And here's the SU-1, which is a Flampanzer. If there's one vehicle that you're going to have that you don't need to have crew exposed, it's a flamethrower tank. 615. Okay, and we did it. Oh, when we used the. Oh, maybe we should do this one with the same type of numbers as this one, because those would look okay. That would look all right. Yeah, this one I hand painted the crosses. This just was a little too tight in there. Well, yeah, let's power through. Let's use the white ones like we're planning on doing. Oh, Joe bit over here. What are you doing over here? Let's do a seventh company. Ooh, a 7. Yep. Let's do 7. Let's do 714. Oh, that's 615. That's lame. Okay, 724. Now, last number is never going to be, well, I'm not going to say never, but it's almost impossible to be higher than 5. Is you're not going to have more than 5 tanks in a platoon. And it's rarely 5. It's usually 4 or less. Okay. Now, are these small enough to put on the back of the... Well, what we're going to do is we're going to cut out 3 sets. The 7. And we're going to put them... Actually, let's cut out 2 sets. And we'll first try to apply them to the back of the turret. And if they don't fit, we'll move them to the side of the turret and not have them cut out. And if they do work, we'll have enough time to cut out a new set for the 3rd location and them to dry long enough. Enough time to, get to activate. Sorry, not dry. Activate. Okay. All right. Where are the awesome tweezers that I had here? There they are. These have been sitting in my drawer at work for I don't know how long. I don't know how I got them. I must have come across something and go, oh, these will be great for the hobby. Fast forward 15 years, and I didn't find them again. And forgot all about them. There's more water here than I need to have, but it's fine. Water's cheap. 2.5 ounces is, anyways. All right, let's go ahead and get our vinegar out here, also known as microset. And let's go ahead and lube up those places. Oh yes, the smell of vinegar. I'm sure somebody out there likes the smell of that. I don't. Key Largo has Florida shrimp. That's really far away. Yeah, neck will never be 100% again after that accident. When I was younger, I'm going to say I was like 23, I was getting a ride back from a party with a girl, and she was driving something like an Isuzu Pup. So like a small, really tiny pickup truck with basically no space behind the cab. Like basically 2 seats and that's it. You got a little bed and it was this very small truck. Almost the same size truck as like those Rabbits. Remember when the Rabbit had the pickup truck, the Volkswagen pickup trucks? Really small like that. And I had my seatbelt on, but we made an immediate stop. It was like I remember it was homecoming, and we had an immediate stop, and she slammed on the brakes, so we might have been going 20, 25 or something. We went to a complete stop, and I hit the top of my head on the windshield and cracked the windshield. And I think since then, I've had a little bit of neck issues occasionally. Maybe not, but it sure seems like that's when it started. But I went to the chiropractor and everything, and it was like, I don't find anything wrong with you. But I don't know. It just seems awfully suspicious that that's about the time that started happening. That probably happened around 1993, 92, 93, something like that. But I love going to the chiropractor only because I always go there as an opportunity to freaking learn. I think that's super, super cool. Now, people have horrible stories about chiropractors. Sure, if you got a quack, but, I don't go to the doctor routinely at all. I don't have time to do that. And by the time I decide to go to one, I've probably solved it myself. I've tried to rub my neck and get something in there to crack. Something's out of place, but I don't volunteer for the flame tank. Those single numbers are in sets of 3. They're singles. Yep, they're singles. Did the Germans use O for HQ? Generally, yes. You were sitting behind the driver and going through an intersection when some a-hole made an illegal turn. A non-turning right-hand lane and took a concussion of the hit through my arm. Yeah. Yeah, it'll mess you up. All right. I wanted to find my other tweezers that didn't have these teeth on it. I don't know if these teeth will bite this at all, but let's try the one on the back first and see if they'll fit on here. I think they will. I need one of these I should have handy. No, don't. Slow fall. I could see it happening. I hate this couch. I wish it wasn't here. Because it catches things. And then things slide off of it. That was just the little vacuum. Like, that's one of those plastic things that it's going to take one of those hits and then it won't work again. Okay, let's get the 4 on here. This is going to work. Let's take some of this moisture off. And let's get this 2 in the center. And let's do the same thing over on this side. Let's go ahead and cut another 3 out. I didn't want to cut them out and then I'm stuck with, not being able to use them. And these are from microscale. They're honestly pretty darn good decals. They release quick. They're thin. Pretty happy with them. Come on. Get up off me. Oh, now you're just being a bastard. Get up off me. showing off for the crowd. Jeez, man. This never happened before. Alright, get this out of here. Here, get your ass in there. Alright. Empty. Okay, cool. Empty. Okay. Here's a 7. Give me a 2. And that's the new 4. So give me the old 4. It's been here a while, percolating. Oh, hold on one second. All right, 10-minute countdown. Get APC's artillery guns looking clean for parades. You'd wipe them down with diesel. Oh, we weren't supposed to do it, but it makes the paint shine. Gets rid of marks. Diesel has that unique smell. So I came across something the other day that, it wasn't the other day, it was several years ago. And it was some post that unusual smells that you like, that you're not supposed to like. And this one guy that I know said that he actually liked the smell of gasoline. I'm like, no. No, I do not like the smell of gasoline. I can't imagine that. Yeah, diesel is it's a degreaser, isn't it? Definitely would be degreasing that. So let's see if we can get the other set of numbers, because what I find the best is just let them dry overnight. Let them do their thing. Scooch these over a little bit more. I think if this tank did not have the 3 colors, if it just had 2 colors, or if it was just Dunkelgelb, I think black would be okay. I think once you start adding the 3 colors, I didn't want to do the red, white, and blue thing. There's too much of that. Red, white, and blue thing? No, the red and white. It looks good, but it's too much. You know, one of the Panther with the Zimrit is probably going to have that. The Panzer layer Panthers that were in Normandy had really big red and white numbers. But this will dry overnight, which means in the morning I should be able to dry brush this thing and post some pictures of this thing done. Of course, it won't be sealed, but for the most part, it won't be on a base, but for the most part, it'll be done other than that. As I like to say, let me step away from it so I can see what's going on here. I think it looks pretty good, especially 3 feet away. And that's kind of the reason that I paint the way I do, is because I need enough black in the creases so that in the crevices so it'll stand out 3 feet away. I think that looks pretty good. Now I won't have the German crosses on there. I'm going to have to hand paint them to get them in underneath here where I want them to. But that doesn't look half bad. And of course, this one's already been weathered, so it's a little lighter. But that's just because it's got the some of the Iraqi sand and stuff on there. So, okay, well, that's where we're going to stop for the night. As always, thanks for, you used to love the smell of pipe smoke. Okay. Yeah, pipes smell a lot better than other tobacco things for sure. Really into contemplating heading to the hobby room to start building a Panther G. Do it. Do it. So anyways, that's where we're at right now. And thanks for coming by. And we'll catch you guys on the next one, either tomorrow or the next day. But we're going to crank along and knock these guys out so we can knock out the next batch. Like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of German Dunkelgelb vehicles. Probably about 10 of them before we switch back to the Soviets. So, okay, as always, thanks for coming by. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that way you can, if you enjoyed this, you know when I'm back on, and we can just hang out together. Or at least you can work on your hobby and listen to some lunatic just go on and on about stuff. All right, folks. Good evening. Bye-bye.